Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, today we got a fun little video. We're talking about ceiling, and we're talking about players that have the highest ceiling in fantasy. So I'm going to start right here with the very first player on my list, and that's Tyreek Hill. Now, this is a guy who, going into any season, pretty much has the highest weekly ceiling, the highest season-long ceiling at the wide receiver position, and it's been like this for the past 5 years. But now that he's in the Dolphins offense, he functions even better. I still think he has one or two more elite seasons in him. The dude does not look like he's lost a step. He had a 43% air yard share in his offense last season. That's unbelievable. This is a top 5 overall projected offense. Getting a darn near 50% air yard share and a top 5 overall projected offense is a guaranteed recipe for a player to absolutely explode. We know that this dude can operate along the sidelines, downfield, over the middle of the field, near the line of scrimmage, in the backfield. This dude can literally take the ball and make an explosive play happen from anywhere, and they utilize him like this. They're going to use him at times on jet sweeps as a running back. You know, he's going to be the ultimate deep threat. This dude can literally do everything, and he's getting an insane opportunity share and an insane air yard share and a very good offense. This dude is going to light the league on fire this year. He's probably got the highest ceiling in fantasy. Next player on my list is going to be Breece Hall. Now, this is a guy who was the running back 3 last year, only behind, a few other guys, CMC and Raheem Mostert. And this is with bad quarterback play. Not to mention the fact that Breece Hall didn't even really get cut loose until like week 5. So imagine if he was cut loose in week 1 and they didn't ease him into things coming back from the torn ACL. He could have been the running back 1 in all of fantasy. It's certainly possible. And now he's going to start the season at 100%. He's another year removed from his torn ACL. We have a massive quarterback upgrade because Aaron Rodgers is in town. Look for this offense to bounce back in a major way. Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. This dude has still got it. It's Aaron freaking Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And this team has some legitimate wide receiving weapons. I like the addition of Malachi Corley. I think that makes the offense even more dynamic than it was. And this offense has some serious upside this season. And not to mention, they're going to be playing with leads a lot because they've got a good defense as well. So Breece Hall is going to be getting 20-plus carries in a lot of games. We know that he's a hardcore pass-catching and receiving back, so he's going to have weeks where he has literally 10 targets out of the backfield. We saw it last season. This dude's going to freaking go off. Next player on my list is going to be CMC. Now, this is a guy who actually does have some risk, but obviously probably the highest ceiling in fantasy at the running back position. If you look at the Vegas over-unders, this dude is projected to pretty much blow every running back out of the water as far as really everything, yardage, receiving yardage, touchdowns. He's supposed to absolutely destroy the field in every running back statistical category. So not taking him with one of the first overall picks would just be a mistake. This dude is a massive league winner. Next player on my list is going to be Saquon. Now, Saquon Barkley going in round 2 is a literal joke. This is a guy who we know how good he is, right? He's a phenomenal prospect. He came into the league and, we expected him to light the league on fire. He just hasn't been in a good situation in New York. He had a great rookie season, and since then has been a little bit quiet, but it's because he's been in absolutely terrible offenses. He's been in offenses where he's been getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Now we put him behind a great offensive line with an elite rushing quarterback, and all the historical data will tell you that any running back with an elite rushing quarterback typically has better yards per carry efficiency. So when you put any running back behind this offensive line and you have the threat of Jalen Hurts running the ball, that running back's going to be good. We saw it with Miles Sanders, a non-talented running back, was made to look good in this offense. DeAndre Swift, in comparison to Saquon, is a non-talented running back. And now we have an elite running back in the backfield. The sky is the limit for Saquon Barkley if he ran away with the field at his position and blew every other running back out of the water and was the running back 1 in fantasy by a long shot. I wouldn't be surprised. Him going in round 2 is quite possibly the biggest steal in the draft. This dude has a freakishly high ceiling. Next player on my list is going to be Bijan Robinson. Now, this is a guy who obviously phenomenal prospect. We wanted to see him get used a little bit more last year, but Arthur Smith is a joke. And he wouldn't feed Bijan despite them spending a top 8 overall draft pick on him. It makes absolutely no sense. So we got Arthur Smith out of town. We got a new coaching staff in town. They're already saying that they're going to use Bijan in as many high-leverage situations as possible. I love this for Bijan Robinson. This dude is going to absolutely blow up as a rusher, as a receiver. He's going to come out and get 30-plus touches in some games. This dude certainly has the upside to be the running back 1. And regardless of how he finishes, this dude's ceiling is a league-winning ceiling, and that's what makes him round one material. Next player on my list is going to be Ja'Marr Chase. Now, this is a guy who's right up there with Tyreek Hill at the wide receiver position as far as weekly ceiling. We've seen him come out on 2 separate occasions in his career and put up over 50 PPR points in 1 week. We saw it once in 2021, and we saw it once last year. And so, you look at this dude's weekly ceiling. He's obviously tremendous best ball material because of this. This is why he notoriously goes as the top 3 or 4 overall pick in best ball. And even for your everyday redraft leagues, this dude has the upside to be the wide receiver 1 in all of fantasy. Keep in mind that Joe Burrow was pretty much hurt all of last season. He hurt his calf in the preseason. So he was hurt before the season even started, and then obviously he had the season-ending injury at, a little bit past the halfway point of the season. So, Joe Burrow starting the season healthy, one of the best, most talented quarterbacks in the NFL, obviously has a very good rapport with Ja'Marr Chase. This dude is going to see 12-plus targets a game. The historical data will tell us that after his rookie year, once they saw just how good he was in the NFL, they started feeding him on average close to 12 targets a game. So this dude's target share is going to be absolutely through the roof. I love him to absolutely explode. This dude's ceiling is freakishly high. Next player on my list is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, this is a guy who obviously, he's tremendously explosive. He basically reminds me of a faster Aaron Jones. He really does. He's an elite dynamic pass catcher. He's incredible at running between the tackles despite being a smaller back. He's incredibly quick around the edge. He can run routes just like a wide receiver. He reminds me of Aaron Jones in so many ways, except faster and more explosive. So you look at this guy and the potential for his career. His dynasty value is tremendously high. His redraft value is tremendously high. He should be being taken in the first round, but a lot of times he's slipping to round 2 in both best ball and redraft leagues. I want David Montgomery to get some work in this backfield because all he's going to do is beat up and wear down the defense running the ball up the middle for 2 yards while Jahmyr Gibbs comes in, gets around the edge, gets all the explosive plays, gets all the high-value touches within the red zone because the coaching staff's already said they're going to give him more high-value touches, more red zone touches. This dude's going to absolutely explode. He's going to be a PPR monster. He's going to see weeks where he sees 10-plus targets out of the backfield, lines up as a wide receiver, runs routes. This dude is going to go off. His ceiling is ridiculously high. Next and final player on my list is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Now, I think that Patrick Mahomes has the highest ceiling at the running back position. I really do. This is a guy who, we look at the offense. They added Xavier Worthy in the draft. They added Marquise Brown. We've got Rashee Rice coming back. We've still got Travis Kelce. We've got an elite Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield. This is the most loaded Chiefs offense in the Patrick Mahomes era. Let that sink in. Think about, the 2 really, really good fantasy seasons that Patrick Mahomes had. Last year and his first year, the seasons where he was the quarterback 1 in fantasy football. And he didn't have as many offensive weapons as he has now. So just think about his upside. I mean, he literally has the possibility to pass for 6,000 yards. It's possible. If he came out and passed for 6,000 yards this year, I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility. 5,500 might be a little bit more realistic, but I'm saying that's the ceiling, and this is a video about ceiling after all. And at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes has a far higher ceiling than any quarterback in fantasy this season. He's probably the biggest steal in the draft, and his ceiling is just freakishly high. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Catch you later.